What was a sketchy cheap buy that ended up being one of your best purchases? I randomly found a wedding videographer online and booked him for a very affordable rate for my wedding, assuming it wouldn't be very good quality. 2 weeks after the wedding, he emails me a high quality, well-edited video. He had a drone I hadn't noticed because he was outside of the venue getting B-roll with it before I even started getting ready for the big day. I was floored, and now I recommend him to everyone who ever plans to get married ever. Edit, he has definitely upped his prices since then. He did the videography for my wedding last summer, and rightfully so, because he does great work. I bought a fake wood, plastic, mantel clock from Value City for like $10 because I needed something for my first apartment. I received a surprising number of compliments on it and was asked more than once if it was a family heirloom because it looked so old. It also lasted for like 10 years until some movers broke it. I was kind of proud of displaying that stupid cheap clock. To the movers, you broke my family heirloom. That was worth mumbles dollars. Emotionally? $700 million. A cat toy that is literally a feather on the end of a stick. It was only $1. My cat gets hours of entertainment from it. Edit, cat tax, edit X2. The phone number on the tag is for the vet office. I'm not from Colleen, but thanks to everyone who said something, smile, edit X3. Okay, it wasn't a sketchy purchase. I get it. So do you. I feel called out. Here, play with this feather on stick. Went camping and forgot knives for food prep. Went to local grocery store and bought package of 3, cheap, no-name, plastic handle paring knives, different sizes. Best knives in the history of the planet. They are still my main knives, years later. Are those the kind with the plastic sheath for each knife in different colors? I love them. So sharp and so handy. Great for travel or dorming. I had a knife with a red plastic sheath and a red blade, nice and sharp too. One day I was cooking, grabbed the knife out of the drawer and pulled the sheath off. Except, it wasn't in its sheath. The red I saw in my peripheral vision had been the blade itself. Sliced my hand open real good. Added some red to the blade. Sometimes the knife demands a sacrifice. One of those square, window size, box fans. Technically wasn't a purchase, I found it outside the dumpster of my junior year college apartment back in 2008. I'm a fan of airflow and white noise, so that fan ran 24 hours a day for nearly 11 years outside of when I was away on vacations and for brief periods in winter, most of that on the lowest setting, but I mean, there were long stretches of literally months plus where it wasn't turned off. Died earlier this year when I can only assume some critical component burned out. I'll miss you. Completely free thing that provided me a decade of a light breeze and air circulation. Hashtag X200B, edit, thank you for the gold, internet stranger. Truly a silver lining for these dark and less air circulation times. I've got a box fan about as old as me, so mid-40s, that's still running strong. I did notice the power cord was getting to be a bit sketchy and I'm thinking about trying to replace it. Edit, thank you everyone for your replies. I will take a look at it this weekend and take a trip to Home Depot. I've replaced power cords on lamps before, so this can't be all that different. I also have people I can call if I somehow get in over my head, but seems to be a straightforward project. The box fan, for those who would like to know what it looks like. My earliest memories of it would be from 1976 or 1977, and I know my parents bought it before I was born. Growing up, it was one of the first signs of summer when it came out, and sadly the first sign of autumn when it was put away. Fugly sap misshapen potted plants from the grocery store. They just need some love and it's so fun to see them grow. Are you my fiancé? Her room is full of succulents that were half dead and half off. Now they're all comically big and won't stop growing and she's becoming a succulent god. Rouse plants and her succulents are calling you. Knock off North Face hiking shoes in Vietnam. Cost me $20. Used and abused and still going strong. Edit, this blew up in my inbox is a mess, for everyone asking about getting cheap shoes act. There's a whole subreddit dedicated to that fashion reps. For all we know they might have come from the exact same factory. I think there's a whole subreddit dedicated to finding off-brand products that are basically the exact same product as the brand one on AliExpress and other such sites, but I don't remember the name. Edit, as many of you pointed out, thanks, I was thinking of her fashion reps. Unfortunately it's not exactly what I said above, but there's loads of good stuff there. Went to a garage sale, little girl was in charge, she's like 12. I don't know shit about turntables, but she has a set on a table. I ask how much, she tells me $20. I ask her if they work, she tells me she has no idea, her dad got new ones and wants to get rid of these. I wait for dad, she tells me has sleeping, she says dude just take them, I'm like, no 20 can't be right, maybe 200? She looks at me like I'm stupid, fine, they'll take them. I drive straight to a pawn shop and see what I can get for them, or if they even work. They ducking work, dude looks up prices and comes back with a $1,200 offer. Best $20 I ever spent. Edit, to clarify, this happened in one of the nicest neighborhoods in Plano, TX, I don't remember the brand, this happened like 7 years ago. Bet that kid got an earful from her dad when he woke up and realized the tables he was going to get rid of at the pawn shop had been practically given away. Possibly. Sometimes people are just wealthy enough to be removed from the cost of things and don't understand, but if they were doing a garage sale then probably not. Saturday, my neighbor, who's always up and out early to clean pools, comes home with a 70-inch flat screen in the back of his truck. Happened to catch a guy throwing it to the curb because one of the HDMI inputs had burned out. There are 3 more fully functioning HDMI inputs and the TV was hanging on neighbor's wall by Sunday afternoon. Still not worth getting up early on weekends if you ask me, though. I am sitting here looking at exactly such a TV. My dad came home one day with a 65 in his truck. The HDMI board had quit so he couldn't connect any of his stuff up. He was literally going to put the thing on the curb later that week. I bought a $30 component to HDMI converter off Amazon and have used it in my living room for the last 2 years. In high school I basically lived in a bachelor pad with my dad and his roommate. We didn't have much, but we did have a giant 70 TV for watching sports. It was on wheels and extended out far in the back, but if you weren't obsessed with having a flat screen and had the space, it was a great TV. We got it because some lady hated the look of old TVs that were fat and got a flat screen, and my dad's roommate just so happened to be working on her house. She gave it to him for free. Costco fluffy flannels. It feels like a chinchilla is hugging you, and I've had mine for 3 years with no signs of wearing down despite almost daily use in the northeast winters. Khorditsa vodka. Ukrainian vodka is smooth as silk and cheap as dirt. Thanks for the recommendation, cheap but smooth vodka. This is such an important post. We had some Stolichnaya from 30 years ago wedding, best I ever had, probably not even alcoholic anymore. If the cap was on it was fine. So you just finished off the bottle? I had to, it's vodka. It goes bad once it's open. In college we would smash the cap and throw it out the window so that we had no choice but to finish it. I bought a turtle for $5 in Chinatown and she's turning 3 this year. Edit, to add a few things, Chinatown in Chicago, which is why her name is Al Capone, we call her Al. I am hoping she will outlive me because I can't imagine losing her. Don't worry, I study biology and environmental science, going in a PhD program. She is treated like a queen. Not my purchase, but still one of the best. My brother gifted me a Snuggie one year for Christmas. I had painstaking tracked down a bootleg album he wanted and he got me a buy one, get one free Snuggie. I didn't speak to him for weeks. I have routinely used that damn Snuggie for every camping trip I've been on over the last 7 years, and I will tell you it has become the most useful gift I've ever gotten. I bought a button-down shirt from the thrift store in the mid-90s that I still wear today. The shirt is obviously even older. It doesn't have much wear on it either. I think it made of rayon and something else. The brand is Kmart. They don't make them like they used to. I bought a blanket in Mexico in 1986 for $5. I still have it and it is super soft and comfy. It has been abused, washed, etc., and it is still in great shape. My dad bought my great-grandmother a blanket from Mexico for $15 in the early 90s. 20 years later I am currently snuggled up in it. It's a huge blanket and has held up so great. I love it. We bought an Ellis Island boat tour in New York from one of the guys on the streets. We were lead into a van and treated extremely well, so we weren't immediately sketched out too bad. We don't know New York, so we ended up driving 20 minutes through Manhattan by 3 men to an apparently abandoned sketchy dock with no one there. That's when we were convinced we were being scammed or sold into human trafficking. Gave us a post-it note with a number and they said to go around the abandoned factory to the pier and they were waiting for us. So we took our naive tourist ass around the building alone expecting nothing and they would just pull off and scam us. Sure enough, we turned the corner and there was a big boat with a bunch of people and it was legit. We had an amazing tour and a lot of fun with free food and drinks. So overall great decision, but in hindsight we should have been murdered or at least scammed. Mobile edit, yes, I rushed the story and misspelled a couple things. I'm leaving Neve, scam, and all the others just for you guys. You murdered those dinks, Guido? What do you mean? Murder? What did you do, Guido? You said to take 'em for a ride. Ah hell, Guido. You said make it so they never forget. Don't worry about it. I did what you wanted me to do. I took care of them.